Fortnite is a game that has seemed to go on pretty much endlessly. I mean, with the countless collabs, constant updates, and endless microtransactions, it seems that the game will pretty much never be empty. And neither will Epic Games' pockets. I mean, they really struck insane gold. I say that as if it's a surprise to anyone, but like, come on. If there's ever a video game your grandma or grandpa has heard of, it's probably Fortnite. The only question that I'm here to answer today is, when, if ever, will the game finally die? The soulless collaborations, the constant variation of player count, and various controversies on the part of Epic Games continue year by year. But the real question is, will the game itself ever become as soulless as its content?
Take this miserable trinket away.
Now, given the way I spoke about the game in the intro, you'd probably take me as a pure Fortnite hater. It's something akin to anyone who watched this video.
Okay, who likes Fortnite?
We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite!
But if you take a deeper look into me, you see I'm actually quite the opposite. I've been a big fan of the game ever since I first played it in Chapter 1 Season 2, which I started playing because of streamers like this.
Do not send me your dick pics, okay?
And the only part of me that hasn't been a big fan is my wallet, or at least when I was younger, my parents' wallets. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when I was younger, I spent way too much money on Fortnite, which actually kind of brings me to my first major topic I want to cover in this video, the monetization. I actually have a video about the monetization of free-to-play games. You should check it out after this video, but I have very strong opinions on the way Fortnite pays for their development. Over the years, Fortnite has been the main contributor to making kids feel like they need their newest and shiniest skin.
Wait, what? Wait, oh my god, no!
While parents have to call their banks to get refunds.
Demetrius, get off the game, go to the bathroom, and take a shit. Now.
Hey.
Bathroom and shit now!
The predatory way in which microtransactions such as V-Bucks and the Battle Pass approach take on kids and adults alike has been a major part of why I feel like this game has a giant disdain towards it. It has grandly popularized this form of monetization, and many people feel it to be a completely predatory and inappropriate marketing decision. I mean, if you don't want to just take my word for it, take the recent lawsuit given to Epic Games based on this exact nature of their microtransactions. It went from being a problem within homes to being almost completely unlawful. I can imagine the sigh of relief most people felt when they got the email from the FTC telling them that they can finally refund the furry skin they bought when they were 12. Also, absolutely no hate to furries, I just thought that video and thumbnail were so funny I had to include it. Speaking of skins, the collaborations that Fortnite has secured have been not only the reason the game is as popular as it is in the first place, but as of late, it's one of its worst features / downfalls. The Simpsons season has just come out, and it's actually a huge hit. The game has reached a peak in players that they haven't seen in over a year. So I hear you asking, how could the collabs possibly be contributing to the possible death of the game? Well, first, take a look at the things they added for the Simpsons collab. I mean, they added weapons, medallions, Easter eggs, skins, not to mention a whole fucking map. Now look at some of their other collabs. Not only are some of these just fucking horrid pics for a collaboration, I mean like Jared Leto, but they're also so devoid of passion and soul compared to collaborations like The Simpsons. God, I mean, the shop is the same length as the infamous Loud House fanfic, and yet I recognize or care about maybe 3 of the skins. And the ones that I do recognize, I just acknowledge how crazy it is that they're in Fortnite and then move on. And I think that right there might be the biggest part of the reason that these collabs just feel soulless now. Because there's so fucking many that they rarely ever feel special anymore. So many people could just scroll their Twitter or TikTok and see Mia Khalifa is getting a collab skin in Fortnite and only be puzzled because they're surprised she didn't already have one. And come on, the ones that people actually showed some interest for get random backblings or emotes. Like, man, why did you not give my goat Isaac a full skin, but they gave this fucking pedophile a skin? You could log on right now and get full wiped by a squad of Master Chief, Goku, Michael Myers, and Mariah Carey.
I'm gonna get my Aprilla out and do burnouts on your front lawn, and then I'm gonna chuck mud bombs at your nan's windows, you silly bastard.
What you say to me, you little
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick.
And you wouldn't bat a single eye or be surprised, because that's just how the game is now. It's a soup of eye candy used to farm money for Epic Games. Purely trash on the copious amounts of collaborations, because when Fortnite gets it right, they pretty much get it perfect. I mean, take the musical events. If you look past the Travis Scott patty burger and shit like that, these concerts held within the game innovated a whole new way to take musical expression to different levels, and it's so cool. I still remember loading up for that Travis Scott event with my friends and seeing how awesome it was that they were debuting new music through such unique visuals. The more recent rapper marathon of concerts with Eminem, Ice Spice, and Juice WRLD was also a huge hit amongst the community, and as an avid Juice WRLD fan myself, it was a proper showcase of everyone who is involved's legacies, and it was a beautiful way to appreciate his life and career. And looking outside of the musical events, seasonal collaborations such as the newest one with The Simpsons that I mentioned earlier are usually done pretty well. Most fans of the game and the IP say that they have collabed perfectly, and they usually have really good things to say. It's just that it's often easier for someone to see the constant downpour of skins and collaborations that they overlook the amount of effort and quality behind them. I mean, really, why the fuck do they have a collab with the Segway company? Aside from Epic Games trying to appease Paul Blart, I wanted to take you guys on a look through Fortnite's history, especially at its season with the most recent lowest player count being Chapter 4 Season 2. This specific season had the lowest player count that Fortnite had recorded since 2 years before the season itself began. But honestly, besides a few performance issues and disappointing storyline additions, this season really didn't even do anything wrong or out of the ordinary. Many who played enjoyed the collaboration with Star Wars, as well as the original updates and additions made by Epic. So why the low player count, you may ask? Well, that's the exact reason I bring this up, because it really had no proper reason to be the lowest, and that speaks volumes on why I think Fortnite is eventually destined to die. With each ongoing season, the game expands its repertoire of weapons, skins, maps, and the like, but at what point does this novelty become a big reason as to why people aren't picking up the game anymore? Well, I think personally that it has already begun. I mean, we are seeing the effects of this now. Given the nature of the game, there will be influxes of players on popular and hyped up seasons, and then it will return to its lull in between them. The problem with this is that new players will hop on the game to play their favorite characters, and then when Epic tries to switch up the game with their own original content or IP, they will leave and put down the game as if it was Sid from Toy Story putting down his toys. And returning players will play for a while to enjoy the new seasons, sure, but before the fatigue sets in and they continue to think that the reason they used to enjoy the game was because the seasons were more fun. But I mean, come on, think about it for one moment. It was just because you were younger at the time.
He's playing Fortnite. He sucks so bad. I'm just gonna troll him.
Hey, Dylan.
Oh my god. Ryan, what are you doing?
I mean, the OG season was a hit to begin with, but ever since they added it permanently, the player count for that mode has just constantly gone down. And these are the biggest issues that I can see leading to Fortnite's death. Any players they gain eventually get bored of the novelty or get addicted to nostalgia, to the point that they stop playing the game altogether. And to stay on the topic of returning players, another big reason as to why the game might end up in a tragic demise is the overcomplication as time goes on. Many players got on Fortnite in the first place due to the simplicity and to the low barrier to entry. It used to be a game where anyone, no matter the age, could get on and enjoy themselves with an equal shot at winning the game. Nowadays, and even worse in the future, returning and new players are bombarded with loads of complicated weapons, POIs, and sweaty wannabe ninjas. As good as these changes might be to concurrent players, and even that's a stretch, the constant updates keeping the game fresh to returning or new players is almost an overload of information on top of having such a large skill difference between players. I mean, that's gotta be something that everyone can agree with. Remember landing back at Tilted in the day when everyone was so shit at the game? That felt like so much was happening. So imagine that being almost every single POI and players thinking that they're fucking esports bros.
Ron, doing the stinky in the open.
The complication of every single element of the game really only gets worse and also applies to out-of-gameplay experiences. As I mentioned before, the shop used to feel like a simple addition to the game that players could use as a way to express themselves with a small side menu. But nowadays, the shop is so much longer than the FNAF lore, and Lord knows that's long, and seems to scroll on for ages. Along with complication, creativity also gets worse as time goes on, namely with skins. Any short character? Throw it in a fucking mech, bro. Any cartoon character, cell shade a Blender model and just throw it in the shop. I don't give a fuck as long as it makes us money. You see what I mean? These things end up being repetitive, and it's really just what happens when a game doesn't change its core design model for so long. But you know, after all the yapping I've done, I want you to think about these questions. How much can Epic add to their game to keep it from falling apart? How many more IPs can they throw into this crossover hodgepodge bullshit of a game? How much longer can they fill the cracks in their core gameplay with shiny microtransactions and underwhelming collaborations? I guess we'll see, but my bet is really on it not being too much longer.